going on, everyone? It's Bales, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Trade Talk video ahead of round 16. Double upload today, so it feels different. We're having to record the two videos for you guys to watch today. So if you guys missed the video that was uploaded early today, I did my best 22 sort of moving forward for the rest of the season. So if you guys want to check that out, make sure you give that a watch and let me know what you think with the rolling 22 video there. So, but we are back for the usual trade talk videos we do every Wednesday, looking at most traded in and out players for the week so far, and sort of give our thoughts and opinions on the most on each of the players. So, but yeah, so let's get stuck into it. But as always, before we do, if you want to smash your big thumbs up on the video, that'd be very much appreciated. So, again, we're getting close to 250. Haven't quite hit it yet, but you guys are smashing likes. You're still getting over 200, which is fantastic. So I appreciate everyone that smashes a like on the video. Just need a few extra people to hit that goal and hit 250. Because I don't think we actually hit a video on the channel yet of 250 likes or more. So if you guys want to help and help us to sort of get that little mini goal there, that'd be very much appreciated. And make sure you do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We've now passed 2.5k, so thank you guys very much for your support there. 500 to go now to hit 3k. That's the next big goal. So if you guys can help out with that and subscribe, that'd be very much appreciated. So let's get stuck in. Rozee, most trading player, 12,500. Coach are jumping on him. He was actually, and to be honest, probably saying his name now. He's a guy that I should have mentioned in the rolling 22 video or best 22 video about he could have been in the mix for a midfield spot, because if he gets on a roll like he did at the start of the year, he could easily be that. But anyway, we're talking about him as a trade target this week, and I think he's a really good one. St Kilda this week. Does he get the windy tag? I don't think he does. I think Butters will get it. It's obviously been shown that Butters is susceptible to tags, and Port have struggled when Butters does get shut down. So I think Rozee is a good target, especially the fact he's just over 700k. Like, he's 705. Is that? I think he's 705, which is a great price. Yeah, 705. Dropped 251k for the year. Like, if we look at his scores outside of that injured score and then the games he shouldn't have played, like 111, 116, 99, 133, 170. Then he was on 89, 2.5 quarters into this game. Then he got injured. Then 51 when he shouldn't have played. 43, almost shouldn't have played as well because he didn't look right. Obviously didn't play against Carlton. And then the bye, and then he came back. Got a 72 against GWS. Still didn't look amazing, but he only had the 14 touches, and Rozee rarely has only 14 touches. Last week was the first week we saw Rozee back to what we'd seen. 28 disposals, 8 marks, 7 tackles, a couple of frees against, obviously bringing it just under the 120 there, but he's got a really consistent he's able to consistently hit scores between 110, 120, which is really good. A lot of his hundreds this year have been around that mark, bar one, so everything being over 110 except for that 100, and then obviously the lower ones there. So, but for me, Rozee, the fact he's 705k, I looked on the Moreira's Magic thing, so shout out to obviously Selby Moreira's Magic there for their platform. Looked on there, and he's priced at 82. So if he averages 102, he's still got 20 points of value there. I think he could average 105 for the remainder of the year, which technically would put him in the mix for the sort of best 22 on the run home. So for me, great target. And I think if you've got Clayton Oliver, that's almost the easiest trade you could make. 15k, Oliver to Rozee, bang. It's an upgrade, and you've got Rozee there. So for me, that's a really good trade and something I'll definitely be looking at doing this week. Logan Evans is next, 9.7k jumping on, 75 in his debut last week, -9 break even. Good target. Saints this week could even put up a solid enough score that you might even be able to loop or something like that, or the Jordan Clark plays, owners of Jordan Clark, maybe you want to see and maybe loop him on the bench, and if you didn't put up a good score, you could even play Logan Evans for the week if you got a sub 70 from Jordan Clark this week if you didn't want to trade. So, but Evans for me is the rookie downgrade of the week. Oh, actually, but then again, you look at Ari Shellmaker, who's next at 5.9k. I guess more people got Shellmaker, and we sort of hope that he gets named. They got the same break even. Are they the same price, or is it like 1k between the difference? 236 is Evans 236, or is he 237? Because that would be interesting if they're the same price or not. While this computer takes forever. Yeah, okay, 1k difference. So maybe you split it by the 1k, right? But Shellmaker's got a tough matchup against Port, whereas Evans got the better matchup against St Kilda. I think both are good. I think if if you want the guy that's probably got longer, the better job security long term, it almost could be Sean May because of how good he looked in his first game. But Evans has got a good couple of matchups coming up, so probably going to he's got a better chance of putting up better scores. So you maybe probably go him just, but Shellmaker's arguably just as good. Like I'd almost go Shellmaker after even just talking through it a little bit. But I think both are really good options. And if you don't have either, you could go either or. I think if you got Shellmaker, it's probably better because then it makes your decision easy. So for me, both are good. Jai Caldwell, I think is a great option to bring in. And it's probably not the last week to get him because it's not, right? But it's the last week to get him at pretty good value. He's still under 800k. 126 season high, and I think career high as well. I think Jorix was saying last night. So he's been very, very good. I know I've been saying that lately. I've been saying very, very, but interesting. But there you go. 126, gave away 5 free kicks as well in that. So could have been a lot higher. And he's got a good run. I mentioned this in the Best 22 video. Geelong, Collingwood, Melbourne, Adelaide, St Kilda. Even Freo's decent as well. All good matchups to come. Only plays the one game outside of Melbourne on the run home as well in round 24 against Brisbane. So for me, Caldwell is a really good option, and I would be, if you don't have him, low break even. And his time on ground's increased last 3 weeks as well. If you don't have him, I just think he's a really good option to be looking at. Colton Solstrip is another option there at 2.6k. Jumping on him this week, I would have Evans and Shellmaker over him. But I guess if you need a forward, he's probably the pick of them. 292k, break even to 7. Looked pretty good last week as well. Sort of finished the game a little bit quieter, but looked pretty good throughout the game. So he's a guy that you could definitely be looking at there if you're in a forward downgrade. Colin McKercher is interesting. 2,500 and jumping on him. It's funny because on one hand I think it's a good pick. He's still under 600k. He's got a break even in the 20s. If he comes back, he's got a good role. I know he's going to be on managed minutes, but he could still score well while he's out there and could make some cash as well if the coaches are cash strapped. It's just that they have, but then on the other hand, they have said that he's going to be on managed minutes, which I know I just said then that he might still score well, but there's also a chance he doesn't because if he's on managed minutes, less game time and everything like that, what is he going to play this half-back role? I assume he probably will. There's just a few questions there, and I guess probably most teams hopefully are not past the point of trying to get guys like McKercher, but we want to bring in a rookie at this point. That's probably the one thing I question with McKercher, but I think, again, he's better than a lot of options. He's better than pretty much every option around his price, so if you can only get to 593, I think he's an okay option. I just worry about the injury as well. Like if it flares up again, they're not going to play and they're going to rest him. So for me, that's a concern with him there. Next is Tom Green, great option. I'd probably prefer him over Rozee personally. I just think a lot more people have got Green in their side, so that's why I'd be going. A lot of people are going to go Rozee, but I'd prefer Tom Green. 127 last week. He's got the Crows this week. He's more expensive with a lower break even, so I think it's just going to be easy to get Green and then get Rozee next week. And the hair is strikes again. I feel like I've got another bloody hair in my nose. It's bloody coming back. Unbelievable. Not hairs in my nose, just there's animals. Frustrating. Dog, cat hair everywhere. But yeah, Tom Green, I just think he's a good option. So I'd be bringing him in if you don't have him already. Jai Simpkin, a little bit the same with McKercher. I'm just a bit nervous with Simpkin moving forward. More for the role. Phillips is in there tagging. They've got Wardlaw, they've got LDU, Sheasel's running through there. Who knows what's happening with Tom Power. So for me, Simpkin's just a bit of a tricky one. I think he's got a few tougher games as well to come. So yeah, again, if he's the best you can get to, solid option. If Phillips got dropped, my confidence in Simpkin would increase. But just while Phillips is there, I'm just not as bullish on him as probably a few others might be there. Bont, again, not much can be said really with him. 1.3k jumping on, good option. North this week, I don't know who tags him if anyone does, so I think he could put up a pretty good score this week. And then Elliot Yeo is in at number 10. Obviously, unfortunate news with his dad passing away yesterday. So obviously, thoughts and condolences go to Elliot and his family. But sort of from a fantasy perspective, there's a chance he doesn't play this week. If that's the case, normally you wouldn't expect the player to play if something like that happened during the week. So obviously people that brought him in, that's just something to note. People look at him though, if he does play, there is a chance he even has a huge game trying to sort of play even more so. He's been good last 2 weeks, 117, 110. Obviously, the thing that does coincide with that is the fact that Harley Reid hasn't played. But his tackle numbers have been massive. 26 tackles in his last 2 games. If those tackle numbers are going to continue for the back part of the year, and he gets a little bit more of the ball, more like the sort of 27 touches, 25 touches that he's had in a few games this year, then he could put up some big sort of 120s, 130s. So just got to watch. I almost feel, though, that he's that player that we started him at the start of the year because of the value. The body's still an issue, so that's the thing that does concern me sort of moving forward. But he's been really good this year, and he's played well. It's good to see him back on the park a lot more regularly as well. Billy Dowling, probably almost. I think I'd rather him over Tholstrup if you don't have him, but I just assume a lot of people got Billy Dowling. So he's thrown just over 300k. It's expensive. At this point in the year, we're probably trying to save a bit more money with our rookies, but cash gen's still important in a way because you want to be able to have cash on the bench so you can downgrade and then go up to the top guys and do luxury trades, and even maybe to a point where you might even have enough cash to even have a 23rd premium, and especially in the forward line, you could loot some key forwards and stuff like that if you're looking at that. So a guy like Billy Dowling's good because he's still going to make probably 100, 150k, probably get up to 450. So I still like him if you don't have him, and still a pretty good option to bring in if you didn't have him. Kynan Brown. There was a Melbourne debutant as well. Andy Moniz Wakefield. I hope I've said that correctly, but he's been pretty good in the VFL this year as well. I think he's averaging high, in the 90s and being decent. So just be interesting if he does get the sub. Then does Kynan Brown come in? How does he go? Could be an option. He's 200k still, so you could obviously wait and see this week. But maybe you pick sort of the best between the two if they're both named. Then you probably go Tholstrup if you're looking there. Goulden, great option. Obviously, you need him if you could afford him. He's a good option. Zach Merritt's still a good option. Good matchup if he doesn't get tagged this week, and good matchups to come. Zorko, good matchup as well, and he's dropped a little bit in price for those coaches that didn't jump on him for over $1 million. I'm a big fan of Rivers. Trent Rivers, I'm a fan of. For those people that are shopping under probably 700k and looking for a guy, he's my pick of the bunch. 6'9", 110 last week, had the most CBAs for any Melbourne midfielder, scored 101 as well against Collingwood before the bye. With Petrarca out, I see him as that midfielder there, and Simon Goodwin's even come out and said that he's going to play midfield again this week. So for me, he's even an option for me next week. I'm looking at him next week just because I'm so angry. I'm like, what am I? I'm like 20k. I'm like 29k short of him, and obviously Oliver going down so much last week is the reason I can't afford him. So that's annoying. I would have loved to have brought him in this week, but he would be my pick of the guys there as well. Grzyuski, I hope, apparently I've heard different pronunciations, but he's an option as well. But he could even be dropped for Cadman potentially this week. Taranto, Dunkley, both good options as well. And I don't know, Walsh, Whitfield, good options. I don't. Where's Chalor? It's just still disrespected. Only throwing a 6'2" coach to jump in. It's going to be really good unique if you jump on him because I think he can go quite well. Maybe he cops the Phillips tag this week because I don't think Bont's going to go. He's going to go to Bont, so maybe Phillips goes to Chor instead, or maybe even a Libba. So, but yeah, they're the most traded in. We'll go to the most traded out players of the week, and didn't even have to know who's going to be the most traded out player because, of course, it is Clayton Oliver after that 26 points. Yeah, people know my thoughts on Oliver, especially during the watch along. That was interesting to say the least. So he was just really poor, and he's got to go. I think it's as simple as that. He's not the Oliver that we know. This is a different Oliver. Someone's wearing his skin. Someone else is inside and not playing to the capabilities we know Oliver can play. But like when you got that 106 against Geelong, we thought, here we go, he's back. 4 free kicks against. That could have been a lot higher. But since then, just like he's only had. He's not getting any transition play, hardly any marks. His tackles are completely dried up in the last 2 weeks. Only 3 tackles, which is not great. And his scores have just slowly dribbled down into the bottom of the bottom. And he's got Brisbane this week. Berry will go to him. I think he'll get tagged, and that's not great. Then he's got probably a Ruben Jinby there. Then he's probably got a Durham or a Caldwell. Freo probably won't tag. Yeah, just for me, like Oliver, it could be an option next year. Well, I think he's an option next year of how cheap he's going to be, but yeah, for me, Oliver's just a guy that's got to go. If we did see maybe a stretch of maybe 3 games later in the year of him going 110+ scores, maybe we can reconsider him as an underpriced option, but I don't think so. So I think he's done for the year, so I'd be trading him out. Christian Salem, he can go as well. Unfortunately, after that 53 on the weekend, has just completely sort of halted his cash gen that he was hopefully going to make for us. His break-in's back up to 90. We thought with that 5 out of the cycle, and he put a good score this week, could make some cash, but he's just replaced that 5 with a 53. So for me, Salem is probably a guy that could go, even get him down on Rivers, or you could even do like a Salem and Oliver to Rivers and Rozee, and I'd be pretty happy with those 2 trades there. So for me, yeah, Salem can go if you haven't got any other issues. Fraser, rookie, yep, can go. Obviously, Sharp can go as well. Obviously, he's had a few poor scores of late. What did he even get? I don't even know what he got last week. What did he get? He got a 15, obviously, a couple of weeks ago. 39. Well, okay. Yeah, good. I had to get the mute button there. Yeah, he's just got to go. Simple as that for Jeremy Sharp. Tom Power can go. Just not good. He had a good role last week. Still didn't score well. So for me, he's just got to go. A bit like Oliver, they've got to go. And funny enough, I own both, which is fantastic. McAuliffe can go as well. If you go him down, make some cash. Luke Ryan is an interest. So Luke Ryan's the interesting one here. So 2 bad scores, 68 and 70 his last 2. Break even at 161 is massive, and he's got Sydney this week. I'm a hold still because of the run coming up. So he's got Sydney this week. I still think put up a solid score because of the fact Jordan Clark is likely to get that tag, and Ryan, I would expect, will pick up a little bit more of the slack there. Heath Chapman also could have a good game for people playing DFS and stuff out there. But yeah, I just think Richmond, Hawthorn, Melbourne, all good games to come after the bye. And if you look at a few of the scores he's already had against those, 161 against Richmond and 142 against Melbourne. And I know that they were doing a bit more of the chip mark, and he's only had the 11 marks in the last 2 weeks. I do think that they're probably a little bit lower. I still think he's not a 70 and a 68 play. He's better than that. Good run coming up. I'd be holding personally, but it's one of those ones that's going to, because I think he's more of a trade for the guys at the top, right? Or if you're sort of got a rookie on field and going him down or Rozee gets a rookie up, that's something that I would sort of tick off as well. If you're looking to go Ryan down a Rozee and you had I don't know, let's say you had a Revel on field or you had a Fraser on field, go them up and you could almost get to a Caldwell from there. So if that you could do that, then actually you might not be able to get a call. You might be sort of 70, 80k off of that, but unless you had some cash in the bank. But if you could do that, I'd tick that off. But I think a lot of people at the top are contemplating, because he's that sort of player that if you trade him, it would not shock me if he went on a 5-game streak again, averaging over 110 and sort of can really bite you. So yeah, I'm probably holding. If he had another poor score this week, I'd probably be a trade next week. But obviously the only trouble with that is that with a break in at 161, if he drops to 60, he's going to go down 50 odd K and he's going to be 920, and then the value, it's just a straight swap to go back. Like, I could realistically go back to Shizu and make cash, and sort of I've benefited sort of in terms of net profit. But yeah, Ryan's an interesting one. I'm holding, I think, at the moment. Revel, yeah, rookie at the end of the day can go. He's been good, averaging 60, made a lot of cash. I'm a bit annoyed I didn't jump on him when he was in. I would have had a fair chunk of cash to downgrade him, but he's been solid, ticking over some good scores. So, but again, break even's 38. You could realistically hold him for another week or 2, but at the end, if him down gets you enough cash to go someone up, then you get rid of him. And then again, the theme continues with rookies. Pink can go, Closey can go. Jai Clark's one I would almost keep if you can help it. Just with the break even to 24, can still make a bit more cash especially if he can pop a 70 or an 80. He's been looking better in the last few games as well. So I'd be keeping him. But yeah, Harrison can go, Sullivan can go, Yulin can go, Angwin can go, Jackson's probably got to go as well. Poor score on the weekend. Dean can go, Fife can go. Sexton as well is probably one that maybe I don't know. He's got a good match. He's got 2 good matchups: Collingwood and North Melbourne. I'm probably keeping just because he's in the full time. But again, I know people. It's luxury season now, and Sexton's probably a guy you can trade. And if you can go him to a Caldwell, if you don't have him, or get someone else, then that's always a play as well. So, but I'm probably holding just with the 2 matchups. And if we see something from Gold Coast this week to say that he's either 1, not in the team, or 2, playing a different role, then maybe we reassess in a few weeks. So, yeah. Okay, so we go to the top 5 targets for the week. So, again, a bit of a tricky list to sort of make, but I'll try my best. So, at number 1, I've got Tom Green. And it's probably going to surprise people because of Rozee's value. I've got Tom Green at number 1 because of the fact that if you don't have either, I think a lot more people got Tom Green, so Tom Green's probably not going to be number 1 for a lot of people, right? I've got Green number 1 because the lower break even, he's a bit more expensive, so if you can get him this week, I'd get him because it's going to be a lot easier to get Rozee next week because Rozee's still going to be under 740k, I would imagine, unless he goes 160 this week. So for me, I'd go Tom Green at 1. I just think he looked really good on the weekend. Like, he's not going to get tagged against Crows. Chincotta's going to go to Whitfield, so whether Hewitt goes to Green, I'm not sure. But he played pretty well against Carlton early in the year. Didn't he get 100? Yeah, he got 100, and that was sort of when he was in decent form as well. So maybe not a great score, but then Richmond, Gold Coast, Melbourne, Hawthorn, like Connor Nash will probably go to him here. Brisbane, Freo, Bulldogs. I don't see as many tags come in the back half of the year, and I could see Green going at over 110 for the remainder of the year, whereas Rozee, I see more 105 for the remainder of the season. So that's why I've got Green 1. I do, however, have Connor Rozee at 2. And a lot of people have got Green, so people will be looking at Rozee as their number 1. I mentioned him before. Good value. Got some good games to come as well. The only flag is he might cop a windy tag this week, but I think it goes to Butters. So for me, Rozee at just over 700k is not much not to like there. So that's why I'd have him there. Number 3, I would have... I'm going to go Jai Caldwell at number 3. Nearly 4k coach to jumping. I just think that the role is good. Tom on ground is up from what it's been the last 3 weeks. So he's going really well. Good matchups to come, as I've mentioned. I think he's a number 4 forward. You're going to want him in your team. So for me, with the scarcity of forwards, he would be my number 3 for the week. At number 4, I've got Trent Rivers at number 4. So a lot of premiums there, but I think a lot of people are shopping for someone between 600 to 750, 800k. I think Rivers is a good target. I mentioned before about him playing midfield, and Brisbane's not great. Then he's got West Coast the week after. I just think Rivers, the value that he's at, I think he could be really handy for a lot of coaches. Not all coaches are going to be looking at a guy like Rivers just because they're not shopping in that area. But I think if you are, I do like him. So I've got him at number 4. And number 5 realistically could be a host of probably 6, 7, 8 players. But if I was to put one in there, I really want to put Taranto in there. If I was to put one in there, I'd probably go Bont, I reckon. I'll put Bont in there because I think he's still value. 955. He's priced at nearly 110, I think. It's just that from what I've seen the last couple of weeks, he just looks so good. I just think he's a really good option. I think a lot of people got him though already, so he might not be highly sought after. But for the people that don't have him, he will be highly sought after. So for me, just because I think he's going to be really good for the rest of the year, I think he'd be my number 5. But as I said, this could be a lot of different players. Like if you don't have Errol Goulden, he's a great target. Zach Merritt, good target. Dane Zorko. Tim Taranto, I really like. Adam Treloar, I like. Dunkley's solid. Walsh is a good target. Whitfield could be pretty good. There's a lot of good targets. Like Myers, I had in my top 6 in the video before. Bit of a spoiler for that one there. I had him as my number 6. Could be solid at just over 700. Like there are a lot of guys there. She's if you don't have it. Like I don't mind Laird if he's got his halfback role. I'd be watching. I wouldn't be taking him this week. But if he's got his halfback role, he'll be guy next week that we look at. So there's a lot of options. Like Crisp as well. Bit more expensive now, but there's just a lot of good options this week. It's sort of who do you want and sort of who do you like more. So, but yeah, they're probably my top 5 that I've got at the moment. But it is a hard list to make at this point in the year. So, but yeah, in terms of my trades this week, obviously back to true trades now. So I've got the Oliver and Powell duo to try and deal with. So the good thing is Rozee's there. So I'll be going Oliver to Rozee. Cost me 15k and thankfully, I saved the 60k on Dogstrip last week to be able to get these trades done. But I'll be going a Tom Power to Will Power. So power to power for me at the moment this week. It was him or Stewart. I considered Simpkin as well. If Phillips got dropped, that would make Simpkin a lot more interesting. It's just I've already got 6 forwards, plus Heaney in my midfield or / Caldwell in my midfield. So I don't want to be bringing in another forward at the moment unless we'll be trading power, but I'd rather go to play in different positions, so I've only got 7. Stewart, if he didn't have the Bombers this week, I probably would go Stewart because I've seen Stewart do it before for a lot more. But I just worry with Essendon. I think Guelphy will go to him this week, so I don't expect a big score for him. Whereas Power's got Collingwood and North Melbourne his next 2. He's got Collingwood up at Metricon. He's got North at Marvel, so that could be 2 pretty good scores coming there as well. He looked good on the weekend, so he's got to break into 50, make a bit of cash, and then I can offload him in a few weeks' time to someone that's dropped a little bit, or if I've got cash, I can maybe go up to a few of these guys that I'm a big fan of. So, but yeah, so they're my current trade plans at the moment. We'll obviously see if they stick, but I'm pretty happy with those 2 at the moment. So, but yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys are doing with your trades in round 16. And of course, if you've got any trade questions, put them in the comments below and I'll answer all of those. And if you'd also like to ask me another question, and if you probably want a more in-depth answer, then head over to askmeonq.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. The link is also in the description below at the very top, so you can't miss it. It's pretty much send your whole team. I think they're even potentially talking about adding some new features that will make it a lot easier as well when you're sending through questions. But yeah, if you want to send through your whole team, if you want to send through draft questions, trade questions, captain questions, literally any question you've got, different categories there, you can select it. You get a personalized audio response straight to email. You can listen to it. I essentially do up to almost like two minutes or so answering your questions. So if you'd like that, and you'd like to help support the channel out, but also get an in-depth answer, then make sure you hit up that link there, Ask Me on Q, and I can answer all your questions as well. So you can even do it as late as Friday. I still answer them. I get notified when I get one of them through email, so I don't miss them, so I can answer those for you guys. But yeah, as always, make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and all of that good stuff. That's very much appreciated. We'll be back tomorrow for our captains video, and then Friday for our pre-lockout chat, and the watch-along will be on Friday. No watch-along on Saturday. I'll be going to the Crows game on Saturday night, unless it's bucketing down rain. I haven't checked the weather. If it is, I'll probably just still watch Crows and won't worry about a watch-along. So I won't be doing one Saturday, but Friday we'll be doing the Brisbane and Melbourne game as well. And also, if you didn't check out the video before as well, the best 22 video that I did, make sure you check that out, and let me know what you guys think of that one. So thanks guys for tuning in as always, and I'll catch you guys on tomorrow for the captain video. So I'm out. Cheers.